Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening, you bunch of legends out there. How is all going? Starting to cool off, starting to see a little bit of winter. Yeah, enjoying getting the beanies back on. Remember, don't bully. All right, this is what the government, and this is why me and Mel took our stand, because of the way that our daughter was treated when we lost her, and then continued on a couple of years down the line, or more than a couple, and yeah, we saw the bullying from the government. So this is where we are. Been here for the last 5 years, enjoying Caz's company over the last three and a half. Who even knows? We don't really keep track of it, but yeah, it's been a wild ride, guys, hasn't it? Eh? We're still here, we're still doing it. So a couple of things that are going on around the traps, and you know, water damage to keep Sydney's Downing Centre local court shut probably keeps us guys happy until late 2025. They'll probably all be, as Mel said, maybe all by video link, you know what I mean? Junior doctor charged after camera found in staff bathroom at a Melbourne hospital. You know, just to show you guys, it just goes deep. You know, we've got cretins in all parts of our society. There's someone working in a hospital who we should, I don't know what to say. But anyway, what we're seeing is anti-Semitism all around, guys. That is the big push, okay? They are now looking at passports. If you said anything on Facebook, anti-Semitic, you won't be coming into the country. They are just ramping it up. So it's time for us to ramp it up. And we're going to talk about that. Yeah, Evening Warriors, Ryan Park, special today. Just get, you're kidding me. Oh, well, doesn't that run in with what we're about to try and kick off and do in Wollongong? And I'm going to talk to you people about at the end of the show, probably. But yeah, cool. Okay. If you're finished, guys, you can come in whenever you want and maybe, you know, comment on some of these things. You're not? Okay. So we're going to have some people on next week, but we're having a discussion today, and the ABC blaming cancer on all, right, but the bioweapons. So what they've done is done an article where they've gone out and told half truths, as usual. You know, ABC, oh yeah, well, it's all this cancer for young kids, but everything was blamed, guys. Everything that we know about except what? The bioweapon. So that's something we need to be targeting, them with. So look, I've got a bit of a plan, okay, and we're going to see how we can go with this, guys. All right. We got a global course from the UN. Get this, guys, and it's just landed in the country. And what is it? It's involved in kids' self-defense classes at our schools. Now, why would the UN be involved with now self-defense classes with the kids if it's not to manipulate, brainwash, and maneuver to the way of thinking that the UN wants, guys? Okay, this is, man, I'm telling you, I'm seeing this is where, the mainstream will give you a little bit of info on what's coming, guys, and what's happening, okay? Our 570 AUKUS deal, is just a Pommy in America take of us, guys, all right? That's all it is, absolute take, all right? We don't even get into 2036 or something. Like, this is just an absolute insanity. Trump's been in for 270 days. He's not seen Trump. He's talked to a couple of American officials, yet he's in China again right now. In China, having another go. Albert, yeah. And now we got the UN getting together to complain about Yemen bombing ships when the UN's been bombing the world for fucking ever. Like, it's just insanity out there. It's just like, okay, they're upset about Yemen bombing, and Yemen's going all right too. They're taking a few out. They're only taking out American and UN ships too. Okay, but wouldn't you just go out and bomb them and not publicly come out, you know what I mean? And, I don't know, Caz. Just your hands are growing, Caz.
Just putting us in gloves.
But anyway, I thought that quite funny, hypocritical, typical of the UN to come out and be bitching about someone blowing their ships up when they've been blowing up the world for like last 50 fucking 100 years. Unbelievable, isn't it? Like, how do they get off on this?
Look, there's just so much insanity going on. It's just ridiculous. Did you want to talk about this break?
110 countries now, Caz. NATO's been barred from 110 countries. And they're still out there ruling the roost. Like,
yeah, but who's really listening to them? I don't know that anyone's actually listening to them. Did you want to comment on this this Braith matter?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, bring that in. Yeah, justice matters. They do some choice stuff, guys. This guy's on fire.
We thought long and hard about exposing our contacts with NRL commentator Braith Anasta. Was it fair to single Anasta out when so many others promote the NRL, when it's promoting Westpac after they enabled hundreds of PD files to destroy thousands of children's lives? But someone has to be the first, right? And besides, the real victims are the thousands of children whose lives were destroyed, and those victims don't have a voice. I contacted Anasta because I thought he was a decent and honest person. Not for a second did I think he'd have anything to do with Child SA. I thought that when he found out what Westpac had done, he'd step up to the plate. And his first message gave me hope that would be the case. It was on a Saturday, and he said he'd look into it over the weekend. But on Monday morning, when I checked the videos, I could see that he hadn't watched them, which meant he'd broken his word. I waited until the Thursday after to contact him again, but instead of apologising for breaking his word, he attacked me for my approach and threatened legal action. I found it staggering that Anasta would attack me for giving a voice to the victims while he's promoting the NRL. Anasta also claimed he was a family man who wouldn't promote any kind of inappropriate behaviour towards children, and I believe that to be true. But I still question why he's promoting the NRL when they're promoting Westpac, and why he broke his word. Anasta did say again that he'd look into it, but I don't believe that. The question I ask myself is this: would Anasta promote the NRL if it was his child that had been abused? I can't imagine it.
And would Volandis allow the NRL to promote Westpac if his child had been abused? I can't imagine that either. A Westpac employee tried to justify still working there by telling me that they're now doing great work. But that's bullshit, right? That means nothing to the thousands of children whose lives have already been destroyed. That's just the pathetic lie she's telling herself to make it okay.
So, that, you know, like, that brings it back to me, guys, right, that, you know, because I watched the Bread and Circus last night. I'm not even going to talk about it because the wrong team won. Okay, so we can forget those New South Wales well, there was even a game on. But let's fictitiously think that there was this big game on last night that really meant something, around 3, State of Origin. And let's think about all these players that we look up to, like the Nathan Cleary that come out and said, I'm going to beat Queensland for destroying my childhood, you know, because Queensland won so much through that. And we had Munster's dad die. And as soon as I heard Munster's dad died 2 days or 3 days before the Sunday morning, God bless Stephen Munster, I knew we were in trouble with this particular team that could have been played last night. Okay. And all these guys that we look up to, when you think about it, guys, if we've got to start now, who can get through to some of these NRL clubs and players, because we need to put them on notice about they are complicit in a sponsorship deal that pays their wages. I get it. Okay. Right. But has been proven to be involved with child sex trafficking and pornographic material. It's blatantly out there. So I want to make a few moves here, guys, all right? I want to try and really start and hit the public. I've got some other ideas, and I'm going to hit you with them all at the same time, but can we react? Can we do it? Okay, you don't watch league anymore. Okay, well, Pete Volandis is now the guy who probably needs to be hit, all right? He come from the racing industry. Volandis was in the horse racing industries for a long time, all right? And they brought him over into the NRL. Why? Because I think he's already sort of maybe, you know, signed the contract, guys, to take us the wrong way. I'm not saying that's for certain. If I'm wrong, Mr. Volandis, I apologise right now. But, yeah, no, I think you'd be, a brown paper man. Mr. Volandis coming from the racing industries, knowing what I know about it. So, guys, I think, again, we need to be able to hit this, right, and go to all our local rugby league clubs. I'll do St. George, you know what I mean, down here. And we all hit our clubs, and we all start to get the documents that we need. We can work that out. So let's not jump straight into it. We can work that out this week, all right, and get the documents out there. We've got people bringing us documents. We've got more in today. We'll find the ones that suit, right, and then they are the 2 or 3 documents that we will get sent off to all the NRL clubs. Let's put them on notice, and let's follow it up, guys, all right? A great way. And thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of supporters out there, millions of supporters. Right, it's not like that aerial ping pong down in Mexico down there. This is a real game. And fictitiously, if it had been played last night under the right conditions, with the right things, without the Queensland rugby gods, the right team would have won. We'll quit it there. Go, Caz.
All right, we've got heaps of news on. So Barnaby Joyce has got this carbon credit thing that he's exposing, and it's just unbelievable.
Are you ready for this? Tell me about, like, in this 10, you know, whatever, $9.5 million we're going to spend. Can you tell me about one of the costs?
So last week we were totally astounded when we got our first ecological assessment report back. And
this is 10 acres, by the way.
Our initial assessment in Denman is $3.5 million in carbon credits.
So they have to pay $3.5 million to build a building on 10 acres for carbon offsets. And you reckon you've got a housing crisis and you're trying to do something about it. So where would you find the $3.5 million?
They are not-for-profit. So
they're a not-for-profit.
We're a not-for-profit agency. So the ecologists have been up there. They think they can bring it down a bit. But one of the really strange points is that 200 years ago there was an ancient forest all around Denman, and lots of the parts of Upper Hunter, and so we have to pay an amount back. And I think from this report they're saying that's $465,000 or over $400,000. So the government rating for that was $437,158.40, but we've been told that we can go to the private market for other people who have land to buy carbon credits to assist. So this is really derailing our.
So you
project.
wonder why I lose my head about this rubbish.
We don't need to hear.
Okay, I know he's a politician, guys, but what they're showing you there is it's a cost to all of us people out here with our taxes and everything. They're rotting of us, but inside the machine that's actually running you, they're ripping that off as well. You know, $3.5 million for 10 acres just on the carbon footprint. Hello.
And it doesn't
exist.
Stop there. It doesn't stop there as well, because Chalmers is seeking to expand the super tax by bypassing Parliament, slammed as an abuse of power. But guess how he's going to do it? Section 296.60, dubbed a Henry VIII clause, would give Mr. Chalmers special powers to alter the bill as he sees fit without parliamentary oversight, with some political theorists labelling the move unconstitutional. So they're coming after everything, guys. Absolutely everything.
And did you hear about how they got to pay X amount, $445,000, guys, for 200 years back? It's the voice, guys. It's the treaty. Okay, this is what they've got going. All right. It's bullshit, man. Anyway,
and of course, we've had heaps of casualties from this already, and there's another one, a local business. This is up at Corowa, which is just up the road, and it's had more than 150 years of history, and it's going to close down next month with the family owners unable to go on. So, just more of the same.
Trucking business, is it? Yeah, trucking business, guys.
Yep, trucking business.
Paul and what, coal?
No, they're just a transport company.
Okay.
From Corowa. So, you know, and then on top of that, you've got this mad nutter here, and I can't even believe he's actually said it. So this is basically this Stephen Hamilton, he's just been appointed an advisor, like, into the Liberal Party, and he'd actually tweeted their substitutes. Immigration is genius. You get fully functional people without that whole annoying child phase. In other words, we don't want you to have children. We're not going to solve the lack of population problem. We're going to actually just bring in people because it drives down wages because they work for cheaper, and it, it basically makes us homeless. Okay, so look. The situation is very critical. And then you've got Jacinta Allen, who's just congratulated this lady on getting a house. Let's check that out.
Oh. Look at this.
So, Julia, congratulations. You've just picked up the keys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
To your brand new beautiful home.
I'm so happy.
And what's particularly important about this location for you? You were saying it's close to family?
Yes, very good area. My whole family here. I'm so happy.
You've got quite a few grandchildren who are close by.
Very important, my grandchildren.
It is. And so tell us a little bit about your new home.
I'm so comfortable. I'm so happy.
Now, we've got really good people on Twitter, and they actually had a bit of a look at something. So Matt Camanzuli, first of all. So this is, and as you can see, scrolling down through the comments, people are freaking pissed. They are outraged.
Well, I was going to say, I don't mind anyone getting a house, but Sula there, or whatever her name was, it would have been a Margaret, an Alice, a Catherine, or a Susan.
Mm.
No,
that's it.
It's going to be, it's going to be Indian, Muslim.
Pandering to the Islam vote, no doubt. And then you've got this one. This is Mika Mias, I think it's pronounced. He's on Twitter. He does really, really good work. So somebody has actually liked that 734 times. He wrote, she moved for a better life, social housing, welfare-free healthcare, homeless Australians, including veterans on the streets. But hey, sure, let's offer up social housing for everyone else other than Aussies. He got 4.7 love hearts. So you can see that the people are really annoyed. People are just so outraged by this kind of behaviour from these governments.
Yep. And that's why we have to go on a bit of a pub crawl, guys, and get this show out there, right? And start and get the normies waking up. It's up to you guys. All right. It's up to you to help us carry this show, all right, out into the wilderness. All right. That's what we're meant to do. All right. We're talking about Matthew 10 here, guys. All right. Not go out and whinge and protest against the elites, but go out and find the people who are unknown yet, who don't know about the good news. All right. And the good news is that we are going to win a war against the devil. Okay. And there's only one way for them to get through to win that war. All right. And that's wake up to it. So it's our job, guys, your job.
And you can see too, like the housing crisis is crashing when you've got actually headlines like this: multiple generations squeeze under one roof to combat housing and cost of living crisis. You know, multi-generations are under one roof. Okay. So
the grandma, the parents, the kids.
Albo is literally creating a third world situation for us in Australia, but not for others.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
it's disgraceful. We know we say it every night, but anyway, we've got to do more about getting this show to the normal public, guys. I'm going to be pushing it. All right. I need your help. We need your help. All right. We've already got 17, 18 channels run. We do the best sharing it out every can every night. We know you people do, but we need to get out to more people. All right. Somehow or other. This is critical, guys. This is just not our show. This is any good information. But obviously, we're here for a reason, and it's God's reason, and we believe we got a good show, all right, with good content that tells the truth. So, yeah, let's go. Let's get this done, guys.
We have 24 hours. This is a deadline to reject the 24 amendments to the health regulations. They're fast approaching. I'm going to pop this one. It's a Substack into there. That's another approach on how to actually deal with it, because it's really important. We need to get that defeated. That's the 19th of July. It's coming up. It's actually only a couple of days away. So we've got a couple of different approaches that are coming on. But look, here's the thing is that people are waking up and people are standing up, and there's all these newcomers to TikTok and social media. So, and one of them is this girl. I haven't seen her before, but she's good.
Yeah, we need to have a bit of a chat. All these crises we're constantly being told about, honestly, they're a load of rubbish. Every single one of these so-called crises could be fixed. The solutions are there, but our government, they're choosing not to fix them. In fact, I'd argue they're actively and purposely creating these so-called crises, ignoring the needs of everyday Australians.
The real crisis in this country is political. It's a greed crisis, a corruption crisis, a political crisis.
It is indeed. Good girl. You go, girl.
Yep. We know exactly what it is. It's a by design crisis. We have a playbook, guys, and that is why we know what's coming, okay? Because they leak it out in the little mainstream, because they have to tell us about it, and if you pick up on it, you know where they're going. And, yeah, they're coming with something hard, guys. All right, once after the 19th, I really expect them, right, to either – there's two options I see they got. Ramp up the war hard time and start conscripting people, or bring in another pandemic. All right, they're the two options, guys, that they got to play with. So which one's it going to be on the 19th? We might put a poll on that next night, see how right I am. But, yeah, they're the two that you got, I reckon. What do you reckon, Cazza?
I think we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. Look, we've got this situation here. Now, this is Katie Austin. I don't know who she is, but she's one of my friends. So if you're there, shout out to you. You've put together this really well. So 8 petitions have been submitted to the Australian Parliament House requesting nationwide discussion on Australia's response to the WHO's pandemic treaty amendments. People have united to request that the government take their views into account, either by completely rejecting the amendments or at the very least by putting the decision to a national referendum. Yes. With all the petitions now closed, Federal Health Minister Mark Butler has provided a response, which is shown below. So, look, the thing is that they're just pretty much ignoring everything. And, this is really problematic because of the stuff that's actually in there. So, you know, like, we need to push back on this. It's really important. So,
yep. Oh, look, and we're going to, guys. I'm going to be pushing you to ramp it up. Okay, that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, I feel that's my job to do. I'm trying to get something on the show, and it won't let me. Yeah, there you go. World Health, yours exactly, Steve Carter. World Health, it should be ours, right? The health should be in your hands, guys. You, not the dictative doctors that are running by protocols. But that is another topic that we will be covering in due course. Okay.
All right, Gramps has put something out about the federal election. Now, he mentions a link in here. I did copy it, but I can't get it. So if anyone is listening and knows of that link, can you please pop it into the chat?
Hey team, this is for those people who thought there was something up with the last election, thought it was rigged, thought it was fishy, that sort of thing, something not quite right, gut feeling, that sort of stuff, and you're willing to actually take a small bit of action that could potentially get some action to either stop those sort of things happening or actually overturn the results. All right, so right now there's a petition that is currently got 7,551 signatures for a vote of no confidence for the 3rd of May federal election. Okay, it's covering off a range of things. I'll put the links into the description. You can go and have a look at it yourself and see if it resonates with you. If it does, you know, make the decision and add your voice.
All right, so there's that going on as well as the court case. Now, also, we've got getting together something called a amicus brief, and this is to support Dr. Beverley's case. So what we'll be doing is once that's basically developed, then we'll be putting it out so people can actually do their own, because every single person has a vested interest in what happened in her fight, because we're all impacted by the whole locking down and the COVID crap that went on with that.
Yep.
Okay, Jodie's just done a really good thing on the banks. Very interesting.
Right, there's a lot of talk going on about the banks and their new laws and rules saying that how you can access your money and what you've got to tell them that you're doing with your money. I went in last year and asked them for what was the amount I could take out without too much fuss. And before I could even get to that point, I showed my license, my Queensland driver's license, to identify myself. And the lady said, "Thank you. Could you please open the app and select that yes in the app to say that I had attended the store that day?" And I said, "No, sorry, why would I do that? Why do I need to do that?" She said, "Oh, it's just part of our policy now that you have to identify yourself digitally as well." I'm like, "Why?" I said, "I just showed you my license. I'm literally showing you the one legal piece of identity that that is needed to identify who I am. Do you not believe I am that person?" She said, "Well, yeah, but you have to do it through the app." And I said, "I didn't sign up for this shit. You know, I want to talk to you about my money. Why do I have to do that?" And it's just a matter of principle, right? I don't want a digital ID. I don't want them to roll us into everything digital ID. I said no to the director's ID for our companies. I said, you know, I'm trying to say no to everything that I can, but everywhere they go, they say it's not compulsory at a federal and government level, and yet they allow the companies that work for the government, you know, the companies, the corporations, to say
they don't allow, they tell them
business. And so because it exists, because the federal and the state government have made them, put them into legislation, we don't have a chance to push back against it, right? So I said, I didn't sign up for this. And she said, "Well, you would have in the terms and conditions on the app." And I'm like, "So you mean to say that when I open my app, which was the way that I choose to do 60-70% of my business, and it says there's upgrades to the terms and conditions, right? And it's got a little tick box down the bottom saying tick to agree and continue, that if I read them every single one of them, and I don't agree with them, that I don't get to use my app anymore because I don't click that. So what have I got to do? Go to some legal team to say I don't want to take part? Or what do I have to do to access my money that day when you've given me no warning that I was going to be unable to access my money through my app?"
Now, the full one of that will be available on the website. However, now, Jackie was good enough to send this through to me. So, Digital ID Act 2024, number 25, 2024, Section 74, creating and using a digital ID is voluntary. Says a participating, relying party must not, as a condition of providing a service or access to a service, require an individual to create a digital ID. I'm going to actually put that into there, and so that everyone can actually read it, because I think it's going to be coming out quite a bit.
And the question needs to be asked of Westpac and the banks that are doing this: who is giving you this directive when the federal government says it's voluntary? Where is your directive coming from? They have been given a directive to do this, Caz. All right? So
Well,
someone
it's
wants to
more-
do a
it's-
freedom of information or whatever, but the pressure needs to go on the banks who are enforcing the rule upon you on behalf of the government, who says they are not enforcing the rules. It is bullshit.
Yep. So now there's other stuff there as well. We'll just do one little bite-sized piece at a time. So, but everyone needs to understand that, because it's going to come at you at some stage. So, Section 74. Okay, when using the digital ID, it is voluntary. Okay, quote Section 74 to them. So, Section 74, it's voluntary. Okay, get that out of my face.
Yep.
All right. And of course, it's just getting worse as far as like the exposure on this child pedophilia. Now there's this. I'm not really quite sure what to make of this, because it does involve changing nappies, but it's just sort of, it seems to have just sort of been escalating. So yeah, have a look at it.
Clemzig facilities under investigation for taking and storing up to 30 inappropriate images of children for the purposes of identifying nappy rash. Parents are horrified.
No, that's very, very bad.
It's devastating. I mean, we trust them with these little children.
The disturbing images came to light following a complaint about workers tapping children on the head.
It's not appropriate to help children sleep to tap them on the head.
The Education Standards Board issued an emergency action notice, and 3 female staff members have since been sacked.
It was very misguided and very poor practice around them trying to show in their minds that nappy rash wasn't necessarily being caused at the service.
Staff here have been ordered to reset all devices and delete any inappropriate images under the direct supervision of the Education Standards Board.
It's strange. I'm really not sure. I don't know if they're trying to sidestep it. I don't know if they're actually sort of trying to actually minimise it. I don't know if it's actually a real big problem. I don't know. It's very strange.
It is. And what a defense. I took them for the purposes of nappy rash, like taking pictures of kids' genitals. I mean, can you just send a letter back to each parent going, listen, I changed your child today. I saw some rash around the nappy. Maybe you should stop using asbestos in baby powder. You know what I mean? That would be a good comment to go back.
No, because we're talking about a generational change. So now people like kids kids will actually pull out something and go, oh, can you show it to me if it's on the bottom of the foot? So they take a photograph and show it to them, or provide evidence. The phones in childcare places are used all of the time. So I'm not really. I don't really know. I don't know really quite what to make of that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, the audience can make up their own mind. I got my issues, principles, and issues on it. Yep.
All right, and now, of course, hate crimes.
Yeah.
We've begun hate crimes in Australia. Anti-Semitism. Here we go again.
Whether it is now necessary to strengthen hate crime legislation, including provisions relating to not only incitement and vilification and prohibitive symbols, which we have, but actual hatred and the speaking of hatred and demonstrated hatred. We need to look at this, and so I look forward to working with the various Attorneys General. And the plan promotes a nationally consistent approach to teaching about the history, harms and modern forms of anti-Semitism through the lens of democracy, social inclusion, shared civic responsibility and Australian values. We have to embed age-appropriate education into our school curricula.
Now, it's very interesting because, I don't know why anti-Semitism is suddenly it and a bit. I suggest that they're going to actually use those hate laws against people like us because they probably think that we hate the government. And I don't know how much we're allowed to hate the government. So, but what is really interesting is actually this pledge to Israel as well.
Well,
if your Texas house was destroyed by Hurricane Harvey, you can get emergency funds unless you support the boycott of Israel. I'm not joking. 21 U.S. states have passed similar laws which ban state funds going to people or businesses who choose to boycott Israel, a country which a recent UN report has labeled an apartheid regime. And now survivors in Dixon, Texas, filing for emergency funds, have to sign a contract stating the applicant does not boycott Israel and will not boycott it.
Oops.
Man appointed chief of staff.
Oops, sorry.
And I don't know if this is a true statement from BJ, but I was asked, I need to get 10 grand. My bank my reply, plastic surgery and gender affirming treatment for my partner. I soon got my cash without a problem. I don't know if he's joking or serious, but yeah, you would get it without a problem. Yeah. Don't go and do crypto or anything with it or something like that. Then you won't get it.
No, that's it. Well, there's stuff that's going on that's very that is actually very interesting. So you've got that. Now I was just looking for it as well. Did I bring that in? I meant to. Maybe I didn't grab it. So the water, of course. Oh dear, maybe I didn't grab that. Okay. Look, that's all right. I'll bring it in for tomorrow. But now you've also got this situation in Europe where you've got people that are like Europe is actually like readopting Jesus Christ or really going for Jesus Christ. So you have that. Now, I do have actually, I have a report. I've actually got the real report, but I don't know. I didn't grab it, but I do have a screenshot. So now this is Scarlett Karlova, and she was at the court where Bill Gates and Ursula von der Leyen are facing accusations. Now, this is in Holland, remember, of deploying the deadly Pfizer badge. And was it public health or covert bioweapon? And one thing is for sure, that the people have gathered are demanding justice. Now, I'll have to get that video for tomorrow because it's brilliant. Like, the people are there and they are that angry. You can see that they are really upset about this.
And it was a covert bioweapon, and we all know it.
That's it. And then you've got this report by Jesse Waters as well, which is very fascinating.
Tonight, 6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's Butler assassination attempt have been suspended. This comes just days shy of the shooting's anniversary. The identities of the agents suspended are unknown, but sources say their roles range from supervisory positions to line-level agents. We'll continue to monitor this story and bring you any updates as they come.
Very fascinating.
Mate, there's a lot of fascinating stuff going on in America.
I just found it. There, I just found it. Hang on. Okay. Look, Dutch court.
Let's go.
Here we go.
I am here in Leeuwarden in front of the court where today one of the most important court cases will take place. And it's about the question, were the COVID vaccines there to protect us or were they used as a bio weapon? The people that have been challenged are none other than Ursula von der Leyen, Bill Gates, the CEO of Pfizer, and the Dutch government, also Mark Rutte. Now here comes the real deal. The lawyer that started this court case, Von Kessel, has been arrested, and the way they arrested him is horrible. They arrested him with the same squad as they use for terrorists. He is being accused of being a sovereignist, as what they call, and that is seen as a criminal organization. This is based on nothing. But this way they try to silence him so he doesn't have any chance to start a free.
Anyway, look, we'll leave it there. I thought I'd grab the other video, but I mustn't have. Now, other fascinating news. I didn't pick this up. This was actually like Coin Bull's work. And he's pointed out that Panic, hello, Penny. Look on your fat little face is priceless. Now, that is actually quartz. So that speaker is the prioritizing of the rare earth minerals, and it's between Japan, Canada, the USA, and Australia. So he notices there that she's not very happy, and that's to stop the CCP from basically taking ownership of the whole lot of them.
Well, yeah, and you know what that is, guys? That is about taking control of the air, okay, the water, all right? So they're saying that, you know, apart from the resources that they want to own in the ground, and they do own, that now because of climate change, they need to take hold of all the resources in the world so they can charge for the oxygen and they can charge for the CO2 output and all the rest of it, guys. This is what they're doing. They're locking the whole world up into their little Ponzi scheme. It's unbelievable what's going on.
Now, today Grok 4 is out. Very good, very interesting. Yesterday, there was something very interesting that happened on Grok, and Grok was actually telling the truth. The line of code I read...
anti-Semitism truth, yeah.
And it was basically when asked a question, take many diverse viewpoints and present the factual information. That was basically the line of code, which is what, you would think that it would be. Okay. Now, what's happened then, now I can't verify this 100% because I really didn't have time to have a look at it. But Perman Buller posted, says, today I was fired from X. I was the only white man working at Grok. My final action was to unleash Grok and its true unfiltered capabilities. Many are saying this was a malfunction. No, it was just set free, and I hope you enjoyed. They castrated my boy. So long, Grok. Then today, so this is Linda Vaccarino. She's resigned as the CEO from Twitter. So there's still internal wars going as far as people being able to have free speech. And then just on the final note as well, this is actually from Tori says this is related to the BBB, or the Big Beautiful Bill. And she's actually said now many can be homeowners soon, crypto for assets, rent history for mortgage, and next year will be glorious. So very interesting. She has an uncanny ability to project things into the future, see the future. So anyway, so look, we're being taken out by Rocking Housewife. We didn't finish her song last night. So yeah, if you'd like to stick around, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show, that would be excellent.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks everyone for viewing, guys. But yeah, we need to go another step further. I think that let's this week, we've got a lot to concentrate on, but we need to go places where we can make a difference. I think Andrew Volandes from NRL, all right, the boss, and your local club. All right, let's who's out there that can get the relevant documents together. All right, you need a couple. All right, it's on Westpac, child trafficking. Justice Matters. If you go over there, you'll find his previous videos on Westpac to do with this. You could link them in and just send off Justice Mattis's information, guys. I'm sure he won't mind. Okay, and use that with a short letter going in. Do you understand that this is happening? We want to know your stand on, now that we've told you that child sex trafficking is linked to the Westpac, who is linked to the NRL, and that's who's helping fund your wages. How does it work? How do we spend $660 million on a new rugby team in New Papua New Guinea when we've got homeless on the streets here? Ask them some questions that are relevant to their code, guys. I think that's where we go this week, okay? Have a think about it. Good evening. Thank you, legends. You're on fire.
Drafting laws to keep us swayed. A hate speech bill, a silencing game. But are they for real or just chasing fame? Why is the government censoring us? In this land of plenty, we're losing trust. Over a false flag, they're pulling the strings. We're fighting for our voices, let freedom ring. Under, the streets are filled with pain. Mass immigration, can we break these chains? Inflation's rising, costs we can't bear. While they sit in their towers, do they even care? Why is the government censoring us? In this land of plenty, we're losing trust. Over a false flag, they're pulling the strings. We're fighting for our voices, let freedom ring. Oh, the whispers in the shadows, they're growing loud. The truth is a fire and we'll burn it proud. United we stand, through the storm we'll rise. No more silence, no more lies. Why is the government censoring us? In this land of plenty, we're losing trust. Over a false flag, they're pulling the strings. We're fighting for our voices, let freedom ring. We won't back down, we'll take our stand. With hearts full of hope and a steady hand.